Ahoy, and welcome back to Leia's Library. Find yourself a cozy corner, get yourself something nice and cozy to drink, and let's get started. Today we will be doing the end of year book tag, so we're going to be answering some questions to wrap up this year of 2022 in book forms. And I'm doing it now because there are some questions that talk about things that I need to do before the end of the year. And I didn't want to forget to do it, so I'm doing it slightly ahead of schedule. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? No. Sorry, that's kind of boring. I'm very good at finishing books. If I start a book, I'm either in it for the long haul, or I'm just going to give up and not come back to it ever again. And I very rarely give up on books. I normally force myself to finish them as long as I'm kind of enjoying it. So yeah, I don't have any unfinished books. If you had asked me yesterday, it would have been Dracula by Bram Stoker, because I was reading Dracula through the Dracula Daily event going on, but that finished yesterday or 2 days ago. I've completely lost track of time. So yeah, I've finished that, and I've got no ongoing books that I've stopped and need to restart. So on to the next question, which is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? Maybe? It's not, I don't think it's autumnal in plot or in anything really, but the next book I'm going to be reading is Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley, which has a lot of autumnal colors on the cover. Does that count? Otherwise, I recently finished We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, which has more like spooky vibes, which I think align with autumnal vibes. Other than that, not really. I'm really bad at these questions so far. Next question, which I actually have an answer to, is there a new release you're still waiting for? Yes, Heart of the Sun Warrior by, oh no, who is it by? Su Lin Tan. Heart of the Sun Warrior by Su Lin Tan, which I think released yesterday, actually, or no, we're the 9th? We're the 9th today, so it releases tomorrow, which means I probably won't read it for another 2 or 3 months based on how long it takes for my library to get new releases. But I'm hoping, maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to read it before the end of the year, because that'd be pretty cool. And it's the sequel to Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which I read a couple months ago in August, maybe? July? Sometime over the summer. And I enjoyed it. It was very cute. So I am looking forward to reading the sequel and finishing off that duology. I love finishing things. Next question. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? It's a lot of sequels, because like I said, I love finishing things, I love wrapping things up, but the first one is The Golden Enclaves by Naomi Novik, which is the last in the Scholomance trilogy that she wrote, which the first 2 books were A Deadly Education and The Last Graduate, and I really liked A Deadly Education. I liked The Last Graduate. I didn't like it as much as the first one, but it was alright. So I'm really looking forward to the third one. And I'm really looking forward to finishing that series. And then the next one is another 3rd book in a series. It's Holopox by Jessica Townsend, which is part of the Morgan Crow series. And I love Morgan Crow so much. I just recently finished the second one, Wondersmith, and I'm really looking forward to reading the 3rd one. And again, I am at the mercy of my library. I have it ordered, and I am number 1 in line to read it, but who knows when it's going to come in. The third one is actually not a series or a sequel. It's As Long as Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Khattu. And I don't actually remember a lot about the plot of this book. Let's be honest, I don't remember anything about the plot of this book. I saw, I think it was a TikTok actually, of books that have really big twists. And this was on that list along with Iron Widow by Shiran J. Zhao, which is a book that I love, and I love the twist in that. So I'm thinking if they were on the list together, then I will probably really like As Long as Lemon Trees Grow. Yeah, so I'm excited to read that. Okay, next question. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I don't think so. I've read a lot of really good books this year. I've definitely read some new favorites. And I don't really see anything topping those. But I will be keeping an open mind. So yeah, doubtful, but you never know. Next question. Have you already started making reading plans for next year? Absolutely not. Again, what I read is entirely dictated by what's available at my library. Although, I will say, I do have some books that I am eagerly awaiting the release of in the next year. Notably, The Shadow Casket by Chris Whitting, which is the sequel to The Ember Blade, which is a book that I think I read 2 years ago, and I really liked it. I'm so excited for the next one. So there's that one. There's A Sleight of Shadows by Kat Howard, which is a sequel to An Unkindness of Magicians. And I loved that book when I read it, probably like 3 years ago or so. So I'm also really excited for that one. And, well, there's another one. The Bone Shard War by Andrea Stewart. If you are familiar with some of my other videos, you will know that one of my favorite series is The Drowning Empire by Andrea Stewart. And this is the final book in that trilogy, and I'm very, very excited for it. I really loved the first two. And finally, there's Heavenly Tyrant by Shiran J. Zhao, which is the sequel to Iron Widow. I'm so hyped. They just released the cover art not long ago, and it's stunning. So I'm excited. Oh, and that was the end. That was all the questions. I was so hyped to answer a bunch of more questions, but alright. I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to put your answers to these questions down in the comments. I would love to hear them. So if you have any comments about any of the books that I mentioned today, let me have them. Good or bad. Let's discuss. If you'd like to find me elsewhere, you can find me on Instagram as Leia Like the Princess. You can also find my little embroidery and art store over there at Moonly Cat Creations, or you can go directly to its website at moonlycatcreations.com. Until next time, stay cozy.